Nurse Erica and I have some exciting news. It happens to be that our 100th episode is coinciding with Nurses Week. I mean, all the stars are aligning, right, Erica?
Yeah, it's kismet. Like you
Yeah.
couldn't plan that better, and we did not plan this. We just realized. So
Yeah, so we want to give back to you guys. We want to give back to everybody and say a thank you. So we're going to be doing a big giveaway of sorts, and
Mhm.
it's going to be we're going to have a giveaway for our patrons, and we're also going to have a giveaway for the followers, just the followers that listen to the podcast. So how
Mhm.
you're going to enter is you're going to go to Facebook and look up Nurses Uncorked on our Facebook page. At the top of the page, we're going to have some instructions on a few basic, easy things for you to do. And then once you've done it, you just type done in the comment section and you will be enrolled in the giveaway. That way it gives us a chance to grow our social media platforms a little bit more. We're not trying to trick you
Yep.
here. And then you can also enroll in the giveaway. And so we will announce the winners of the giveaway. We're going to be adding a lot of companies, and we will be announcing that as the time comes up as to what's involved in the giveaway. And we'll announce it the week of Nurses Week.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
don't forget to follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at Nurses Uncorked.
But you know what? It's funny. My first thought was you just wanted them to shut the fuck up.
He just wanted a quiet night shift. That's all he wanted. He's like, could we get one good shift up in this bitch? Could we just get one good shift? You're gonna give me 4-1? I begged.
It's gonna be 2-1.
It's just give me 10 minutes, because I'm gonna fix that.
Oh my God. I can't. I just can't. Between this and the shitting in someone's hand?
Yeah.
I was not
cannot
thinking
wait.
that this is where the Huddle news was going to go this
Oh,
week.
it's so good. I'm telling you. Welcome to Nurses Uncorked, where we pop the cork on everything in healthcare.
I'm your host, Nurse Jessica Seitz.
And I'm Nurse Erica.
On Nurses Uncorked, you get real, unfiltered facts and plenty of laughs.
Please follow us wherever you listen to podcasts, and don't forget to rate, review, and download.
Become a member of our winery, where you get early access to the podcast, bonus episodes, ad-free content, and much more.
Now sit back, relax, and pour yourself a glass
as we uncork the truth in nursing. Welcome back to Nurses Uncorked. It's Nurse Jessica and Nurse Erica here, and we're back with a new Huddle News update. Woo! So excited.
We had a lot of people asking, because we were doing a bunch and then we had so many guests that we didn't do one for quite a while. So
we got busy, right?
I'm excited. And I have to say, sorry to cut you off.
No, go for it.
Some of my stories that I'm going to share today are like so good, and people have been telling me, aren't you going to talk about this? And I haven't made videos about it, and I've been saving it for the Huddle News update.
Yay!
Yeah.
So for those of you that are watching via video, I have a new ambiance around me. This is called the new Nurse Jessica Relaxed Nurses Uncorked room. I've got new lighting. I'm in a chair with a comfy pillow. This is just girl talk. Erica still looks stuffy and like she's got a stick up her ass, but you know, it's okay.
I was going to say, are you going to include the part where you're peer pressuring me into changing everything, and I'm still not even done with my office, and she's like, we need a more relaxed, we should be sitting on a couch, we should have a blanket. Yeah. And I'm like,
we're uncorking. I'll get her there, you guys. We're going to get there. I figured I would start it. I've got my little light up martini glass. I got my drink in hand. Erica's got a Red Bull. So yeah.
Well, it's 9 a.m. here.
Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
That's
so
right.
Let me know what y'all think of my new background if you're watching this.
Tell them what the sign says for people that aren't watching the video.
It says Nurses Uncorked. It's a neon light up sign with two wine glasses toasting, and then I have a martini glass lit up that I found for a deal at Kohl's for $9. It was a freaking steal. So yeah, we're gonna do it. So before we dive into our stories, this is a very easy drink of the week. And I have a reason that I did this. It is one of my favorite beers, which is really easy. It's a Corona, but I like to have a Corona a little bit different than most people. Maybe not. You either take a lemon or lime, whatever you have. I prefer lime, but I didn't have one, so I did lemon. You just squeeze it around the edges of it and squeeze it into the drink, and then you salt the entire beer around the sides. Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of people do this. So you've got like your salty and your sour kind of taste. The only thing is it looks kind of disturbing because I like to lick the side of the bottle and then.
Well, so some guys might appreciate watching that.
Yeah, that's it's a good thing that that's only like 4% of our listeners are men. So,
yeah.
Anyways, so also the reason that I decided to do this, make that noise. We make salt and pepper shakers out of Corona glasses. It's just a thing that we do here. So like, you dry them, you clean them, and then you can pour your salt, pour your pepper, and then they sell these little toppers for like beer bottles, and it makes a cute salt and pepper thing. Well, my son was salting his popcorn and busted one on the floor. Glass went everywhere. So we got a whole nother new 6-pack of Coronas, which is why I have them, because we had to make new Corona salt shaker bottle. So it just, that whole event, he felt so bad. Like I was going to yell at him or something. I'm like, I know. I'm like, it's okay, buddy. We all make mistakes, like it's fine. So that's why I have a 6-pack of Coronas, but that's the story. Yeah. So cheers.
Cheers. My Red Bull and your Corona. Cheers.
You're going to go first today.
Okay. But wait, don't we have a new patron?
Oh, yes, we do. Sierra, welcome to the patron community. Welcome to the winery. Thank you for supporting us. You left us a lovely message that we read, that you were, you love the podcast and you love what we're doing for nurses everywhere. And that meant a lot, didn't it, Erica?
It did. Thank you. And welcome, Sierra. Welcome.
Yep. Anybody else that wants to join the crew, the link is always there in the description of the podcast.
Yeah, and we do patron-only episodes, and today I think we're going to record one, and I'm going to tell Jessica something during the recording that I have not told her yet.
Oh, shit. Erica's pregnant.
Yeah, that's it.
That would be really exciting news. Erica's like, that's not funny.
No.
Okay, I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah.
So what's our first story?
Okay, I'm just going to say that I titled it, we're like abusing that bottle.
It's so freaking good. The salt, I can't resist. You're going to see this. I'm going to molest this Corona multiple times.
Oh my God, you're not just licking it, like you're going to town.
I look
How far down does the salt go?
Here.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
I thought it was just the rim.
No, it's all the way around.
Okay. All right. That was a visual. All right. Anyway, I have titled this story "Defecating," if that gives you any idea. Okay. So a travel nurse named Samantha, she's been a nurse 13 years, is suing Overlake Medical Center in Bellevue, Washington, and suing a patient, claiming that she was sexually and physically assaulted, including a patient defecating on her, and that the hospital failed to follow its own protocols to report it to law enforcement. So the deal is that she started a travel nurse contract December 2023. And this incident occurred just a few weeks later, January 17th, 2024. But she just recently filed the lawsuit. So this story just came out. She says that she was assisting a patient in the bathroom, and he asked her to wipe his genital area.
Of course.
And she said, of course, because every nurse has been there.
There's a lot of men that try to get away with that little scam.
A lot. Yeah, I have a story where that happened as a CNA, but he's
as if we don't know. As if we don't know how many times men try to do that. So wait, what happened to you? What did they do to you?
I was a CNA a million years ago doing home health, and he was like a recovering burn victim, and so he had limited dexterity from the burns and stuff, and so he did need help with skincare in general, and I had to rub like lotion all over his body, special lotion and stuff. But then he wanted it rubbed in specific areas that really were not affected by the burns, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So I didn't go back there. They sent a male CNA.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry.
Anyway, so this travel nurse, he asks her to wipe his genital area, and she says to him, like, no, sir, you can do that yourself. He was definitely capable of performing his own self-care, she says. And then she claims that he grabbed her arm, pulled her down to the floor, forced her hand onto his genitals, and defecated in her hand.
What?
He shit in
that's
her
disgusting.
hand. And I don't know if she was wearing gloves, but I fucking hope she was.
Why? That's nasty. I bet there's some Urban Dictionary slang for what this is called. Like, there's probably some fetish of pooping in someone's hand. It's probably.
I'm sure there's some, and I don't know if that was it, but like,
if you happen to know what that term is, please write us in at Nurses Uncorked. We would love to know what that's called. Yeah.
Isn't that horrendous? So,
so
afterwards, she goes and immediately informs the MD, who reportedly only made things worse by saying, you should really be used to these incidents by now because you've worked in the ER for so many years. And this stuff happens. It's just part of the job.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Right.
I hate that.
Then, I know, it's infuriating. And then apparently she still had to keep him as a patient after that and had to perform some sort of procedure. Like, they didn't even switch assignment, nothing. Then she later informs the nurse manager of the unit about this. And the manager promised to take action, which I guess per policy, they are required for any kind of assault like that, because that is an assault, to notify law enforcement. Well, when the nurse followed up later, I don't know how much later, but later with the manager admitted that she never reported it. And the travel nurse says that this trauma still affects her today, and that Overlake Medical, and well, I will say, I was talking to my friend that's in law school, and he said, probably the hospital their defense is going to be, well, she could have reported it too, which is true. Like, I don't know why she wouldn't have reported it herself. I'm not sure.
Which is what I was thinking, is this just goes back to be your own advocate and make sure it happens. Call the police yourself if you have to. Be there with your manager if your manager says they're calling, and be an observer to it. Like, you need to have some proof for sure that this is what. Yeah. And I mean, obviously, if somebody files a police report, if nobody came and spoke to her, that's probably a clue that nothing was filed. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And I mean, maybe she did file her own, but it does not say that anywhere at all.
Okay.
So, Overlake Medical Center did release a statement. They said that they don't typically comment on pending litigation. However, we treat allegations of physical and sexual assault with the highest degree of seriousness, and we stand behind the measures and protocols in place to protect our staff. We plan to dispute the claims against our organization in this case.
We completely frown upon shitting in people's hands. That is number 3 on the code of rules, and we will not stand by this.
We do not abide by patients shitting in nurses' hands. However,
but
we're not going to report it.
That's physical too.
She says, like, he grabbed her forearm and, like, really forcefully. I mean, think about the force you would need to pull someone completely to the ground, not just bent over, but like she was on the floor, allegedly. That's a lot of force.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, you can wipe your own butt. Come on now.
Yeah. If you can throw somebody to the floor and aim into the palm of their hand, that's a lot of dexterity. And I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, and I want to know,
that he's probably ready to go home. He probably could be discharged.
But, like, why is he so angry? Did something happen that he perceives the nurse did wrong? You know what I like? who knows? There's no excuse for it. But he shit in her hand. That's where we're at now. Nurses are being forced to have patients shit in their hand.
That reminds me one time, me and my friends got in the pool with our kids, and my friend Vivian doesn't have good vision, and she thought she saw a leaf floating in the pool, and she picked up a big brown turd in her hand. Yes.
Shit.
And
Literally.
then started screaming when she realized what it was. She just thought she was very similar. Not quite, but you know what I mean. It just made me think.
But if that doesn't speak to the state of the nursing profession right now, then I don't know what does.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. What do you got?
Well, let's see which one I want to do first. We'll go with, let's just get over the sad news. I think I'll do that. We'll do sad news. This is a short story because there's a lot of details still developing that aren't really released yet. So, earlier this week, out of UMMC, Erica probably knows what that stands for. University, I don't know. Do you have any idea?
Is it University of like Mississippi or Michigan?
Oh yeah, Mississippi. Here we go, because it was in Madison County, Mississippi. Okay. So it must be University. Okay. 3 people died during a medical transport. They were flying one of their helicopters, Air Care number 3, and were transporting a patient. It was a pilot, and I had to do digging to find out who else was on the flight, even though you could kind of assume, but they're being kind of hush-hush about all of the things. But it was a paramedic, a nurse, the pilot, and a patient. They flew and transported the patient, no problems, delivered the patient, so the patient was not on the helicopter. But in their return back, unfortunately, the helicopter crashed into a wooded area around 1:15 p.m., and they had to say that all crew members had passed away. They're obviously looking in with the aviation committee and everybody to try to figure out what went wrong, what happened. But all of those details are still very, it has not come out yet. I haven't read anywhere their names or anything to that effect.
So does it say like they were a nurse, a doctor, EMT?
No, it doesn't. I had to find who these 2 people were by going to a YouTube that did like more of a deep dive. So it wasn't actually even reported in the news yet that it was a nurse and it was a paramedic. So I got that from, so we'll just say allegedly it's a nurse and a paramedic, because I had to find that and do a little bit of deeper diving. But the news itself only said it was medical personnel and a pilot. They didn't, I don't know why they're saying that. Maybe they don't. The families have been notified at this point, obviously, but they're not putting all that information out yet.
Those like flight for life helicopter transport scare me so much. Like on one hand, I think those nurses are so badass, right? Like I want to put on the jumpsuit.
It's cool.
Take the picture in front of the helicopter and have your skill set like you fucking rock, right? But I just remember so many of these crashing. And I know it's probably a tiny percentage in the grand scheme of things. I remember hearing as a CNA, one here in Las Vegas crashed a million years ago. And that there's been a few since then, just here where I am. Like I feel like these happen way too often.
They actually said, I think nothing had happened like this on a flight in their hospital in over 25 years.
In their hospital.
Well, yeah. I mean, planes are flying and helicopters are falling out of the sky left and right here lately. It seems like. So which is really, that's a whole nother story. I don't know, but it just seems like either we're hearing about them more or it's happening more or both. I don't know, but very, very scary. And, the hospital did put out a very nice statement saying, that they're heroes and that healthcare workers put their life on the line on a daily basis all the time. And that they were heroes there at the hospital. So maybe we'll find out more about what happened or why the helicopter went down. But right now it's not out.
That is so scary.
Very scary.
Okay. I have a feel-good nursing story to bring us back from that sad one. Okay. Pope Francis was recently hospitalized. As you probably know, he had a 38-day hospitalization for bilateral pneumonia. He's 88 years old. It was not looking good for the Pope. They actually had almost decided to stop any aggressive treatment and let him pass naturally. It was bad. He, like, apparently with the pneumonia, he had a numerous, what they're calling respiratory crises. There was a February 28th bulletin that the Vatican put out that said he had a bronchospasm, which, kind of ended up with him vomiting and aspirating the emesis, and, his condition just worsened from there.
Wow.
Like, it was bad. They were thinking of letting him just go. It was at that point. Until his private nurse, male nurse named Massimiliano Strapletti. This is his, like, private nurse, not the one that was in the hospital assigned to him, but his private nurse that I think stays at the Vatican with him. Spoke 5 words to the medical team when they were considering to stop aggressive treatment. He said, quote, "Try everything, don't give up." And apparently that was the turnaround. And he started improving after that.
So the Pope said that? The Pope said, try everything, don't give up.
No, the nurse, his nurse, Maximiliano, said that to the medical team and probably to the Pope as well. Like, try everything, don't give up.
Okay.
And that was apparently the turning point. And the Pope has said since then, since he's been discharged recently, like, he credits the nurse for that, for saving his life, essentially.
That nurse is a man of few words, man.
I know, 5 words.
Yeah. But hey, that's clear message right there. Like,
but wait, there's more. Apparently, this is not the first time that nurse has saved the Pope's life. According to the Pope, back in 2021, that nurse was working at that point as a nursing coordinator of the Vatican's health department. So not the Pope's private nurse yet. And he apparently was the one that diagnosed or figured out what the current medical issue was, that it was some sort of an intestinal issue. And they were able to do surgery and removed 33 centimeters of his colon. And he credits him for saving his life and said at that time in 2021, quote, "A nurse, a man with a lot of experience, saved my life."
Wow.
But wait, there's more.
Jesus, this guy need to be put into sainthood?
Okay, so this one is not the same nurse, but it's the same Pope and another nurse.
Okay.
Long time ago, 1957. He was not Pope then, obviously. He was just a seminarian in Argentina, also with pneumonia at that point. His nurse at that time ignored the doctor's order and doubled the medication dose, whatever it was, I don't know. And the Pope credited the nurse with saving his life back then in 1950. So 3 times at least, this Pope has publicly said, like, a nurse saved my life.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Good job, nurses. Way to go.
I know. I love that.
Had that nurse been working in today's day and age, she'd been written up for doubling the medication and had been fired and let go.
And criminally prosecuted.
Yeah. But thank goodness it was in 1957.
Correct.
Where you could get away with a lot more, I guess.
Some people are more sensitive to strong smells than others. And so we thought we would go through and rank a couple of in our opinion, what we think stink bomb odor blockers more mild scents are for those that are sensitive, and some of the more strong scents. And we don't know what each other pick. So Jessica, let's hear your 2 mild scents.
I picked lavender. I feel like lavender is a nice scent, but it's very relaxing and mild. It's basically what it is. And I also picked Good Karma. To me, is a very
Good Karma too for a mild one.
Okay, there you go. That is definitely, we agree.
Yeah, my second mild scent is banana. I think that's a really just nice, light smell. Okay, let's hear your 2 strong scents in your opinion to really block out, like, we're talking the C. diff type level stuff.
Yeah, you need the strongest one. My opinion, I would pick Evergreen as one of my choices.
Love that one.
Christmas in your nostril hole. It's just like a big ficus fur coming at you.
Yeah.
It's great. And I also picked coffee, which I love.
I've got coffee too for a strong one.
This one will block it all, but it's a great scent. What else you got?
My second strong one is grapefruit. I think that's a really good strong one to block the odors. Yeah.
Yeah, you can find it from mild to strong. They've got it all. Head to stinkbombodorblocker.com and use code uncorked15 for an additional 15% off your total purchase.
All right, your turn.
Okay, let's see what I want to do. Okay. I'm going to do a follow-up on a Huddle News story that I did. I think maybe the last time we did a Huddle News, because it's been way too long. But if you remember, this was about a nurse at a nursing rehabilitation center. Her name is Amber Henderson, and on 12/23/24, this nurse went in and started her shift. Okay. At about 9:15, she noticed that one of her patients was not in the room and thought it was odd, but was like, okay, well, I need to go back and check. Maybe she's just out and about. And then didn't check again, supposedly until midnight. Still, the patient wasn't in the room. So decided to make a phone call to the family to see maybe did they sign her out or something. Nobody answered. And so she, I don't know, went about her shift. Okay, let me read the name of the facility. Avenue at Warrensville Care and Rehab Center in Warrensville Heights, Cleveland. So here's what happened. Okay. Because there's a lot that's being reported in the news, and then there's some that is alleged information on the backside, because you know how that always is.
Yeah. So
the next morning, as she was finishing up her shift, about 6:30 a.m., she reported to her supervisor that she hadn't seen her patient all night long. Well, the supervisor went ballistic and they called it a code purple there. Notified the police department. They came, and not until about 8 a.m. did the nurses find the patient deceased outside, laying face up on a bench. Evidently, this is the new information now that's coming out. So the door to the wraparound there outside of the rehab center was left unlocked, which it should not have been unlocked. Okay, so that already was problem number one. I don't know whose fault that is. But once you go outside, the door locks automatically, so you can't get back inside. Okay, so that's why the patient couldn't come back into the facility. She shouldn't have been able to go out that door anyways, but That's what happened. So the patient was left out there, and after autopsy, it was confirmed that we know this for sure, that it was from hypothermia, that the 84-year-old patient, female, passed away. So this was on December 23rd. Then a couple weeks later, the nurse was actually arrested, okay, and was officially indicted for involuntary manslaughter. So the prosecutor there of that county, the grand jury, all reached a conclusion, and he announced that, yes, that she was being indicted and is for sure being charged with involuntary manslaughter. Now, here's where more information gets crazy. Okay, so she's being charged. She had told the people that morning that the police, I didn't know what to do. I'm a new nurse. I didn't know. I just
not an excuse.
Well, here's where not the hospital, but the facility done thrown poor Amber under the bus, as they do. This is what they said. I'm acting like the spokesperson for the hospital. Further investigation conducted by WHPD revealed the following information from the hospital was told. Every nurse receives 4 weeks of training, which includes what to do if a resident is missing. It also is required for the nurse to check on the residents every 2 hours. Throughout the course of her shift, Henderson falsified completing several tasks that were required to be administered to the patient. Alvira was her name. In addition, every door should have a keypad and be locked. There was an unlocked door near the patient's room that led to the staircase, and Henderson was also at fault for not reporting Alvira missing throughout the course of her shift until 6:30 a.m.
Yeah.
So that is the statement that the hospital has made. Now, here's which, hey, I guess you do get training. Now, whether how thorough that training was,
Here's the thing. When you get hired and you're going through your like onboarding stuff and they put a million policies in front of you and you have to sign a million pieces of paper, I guarantee that was one of them. And that's why it's so important to read that stuff, because they will absolutely use that against you.
Oh, and they did.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to take fault for it. They're like, we told her what to do. Now whether she was documenting that she did things for the patient, that maybe she was just working on, how sometimes you get like in a zone and you kind of just, maybe she checked off stuff that she shouldn't have.
I think I remember hearing that she did. And then that's a whole other component of falsifying documentation. That's bad.
So, and here's the other thing that is alleged. This is also something that I heard through looking through. These other parts here now that I'm going to say are not on news sources. This is like behind the scenes nurses reporting things to other people on TikTok and whatnot. But evidently this facility was kind of lenient and they allowed the outgoing nurse sometimes to leave early. And the incoming nurse sometimes would come in a tiny bit late. So there would be no nurse on shift for maybe 30, 45 minutes. It might be a tech or something, but they didn't find it as a big deal. So this was one of those nights. And supposedly that nurse was running extra late and nobody showed up until about 9 p.m., which is when she actually started her shift instead of 7 o'clock. So there was a huge time window. So now is another nurse going to be in trouble for leaving early if all of this comes out? Like the outgoing nurse that technically abandoned the shift, even though the facility was
they should be
lackadaisical about it.
They should be, because you are held to that standard. You have to give handoff report to another licensed nurse and only another licensed nurse, period.
So if all of that comes out, there's going to be probably a lot more that goes along with this. Now, like I said, I'm going to link the news articles that I read. It's scary.
I don't think any nurse should be criminally charged unless they're like, knowingly, willingly trying to inflict harm, but it's not good.
I think the worst part was the documenting, falsifying the documents.
Well, that's what's going to sink her. Yeah, absolutely. That's going to sink her. But also, like, you didn't follow up for hours and hours and there was a missing patient.
I know. It's bad. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good, which is probably why the jury said yes, that she needs to be held accountable, because she knew she wasn't there. And other than make one phone call to the family that, I don't know.
And then didn't she, I think I remember her like tell the police when she was very first investigated, like, I'm a new nurse, I didn't know.
Yeah, she said, I didn't know. I didn't.
So, okay, two things. Shut up when you're talking to the police. Like, who doesn't know that? Do not offer up any information. You're not helping yourself. But secondly, even if you don't know what the actual specific policy is there for a missing patient, you have to assume that there is some sort of policy for a missing patient, of course. So why wouldn't you just say, hey, I can't find this patient. Like, what's the process? What am I supposed to do? To someone without waiting 10 hours or whatever.
I mean, you would think. Now, if she was the only nurse on shift, I mean, she should have called somebody and asked their opinion, called the supervisor at home. I don't know. If you really were clueless as to what to do and you didn't remember signing this policy about calling a code purple and what that entails, then, at a minimum, she should have tried to get a hold of somebody and said, what do I do? Like, I poor Alvira is
terrible.
Is gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So hypothermia, that's definitely what she passed away of, which is really sad. It's awful.
And unfortunately not the only case of that happening, where a resident has gotten outside a facility and frozen to death.
Well, terrible. And I want to say, I don't want to throw poor Amber completely under the bus. She probably was taking care of a lot of patients. She probably was
Yeah.
by herself. She probably was passing a million meds and doing her thing.
Understaffed.
And yeah,
Unsafe
and
ratio.
being pulled into a million rooms, and probably in the back of my mind was like, damn, I need to check on Elvira again. Did Elvira come back yet? And probably kept thinking, and by the time, 4 hours have gone by, and then it's like, shit, it's 3 a.m. Do I call Elvira's house family again at 3? I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to just play devil's advocate, but it's all bad. That's all I know.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's that update.
All right. This next one is titled "Fuck Off Spray."
Oh, I want some of this.
Good.
Where do we get that?
Oh,
we need to talk to Stink Bomb Odor Blocker.
For real, honestly.
Develop
this might have been
a smell spray or something.
Well, I guarantee you, I bet that they wish they had used Stink Bomb Odor Blocker in this situation instead, because
oh boy, this is going to be interesting.
Okay, in 2019, a nurse in the Netherlands was transferring to a new unit, leaving her old unit that she had been on for a long time, and wanted to give her coworkers farewell gifts. So she handed out 2 different types of gifts. One was pens that she had made that said, "Can't fix stupid, but we can sedate it." Okay. And then the other one was an aerosol can of air freshener, but it had a different label on it, and it looked very professional, like it was well done. And it said, "Fuck off spray. Keeps idiots and assholes away for up to 4 hours."
It looks like a Lysol. It does. It looks like a Lysol bottle.
Yeah.
I saw that somewhere they were selling it. I don't know where I saw it, but it's actually very cute.
It's funny as hell, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't get it, you're not a nurse. Like, you don't have nursing humor.
Yeah.
Because every nurse would appreciate that. Well, unfortunately, the hospital found it, and they fired her immediately, saying it conflicted with the organization's standards of conduct, was offensive, insulting, hurtful, and disrespectful to her colleagues. Well, she appealed it and sued the hospital. And they just came back with the decision recently, so it just came out in the news. The Netherlands court ruled in her favor, and I know.
I'm moving to the Netherlands. That's it.
For real, it's amazing. They ordered the hospital to pay a total of 2,300 or 23,000 euros, which the breakdown is 7,000 euros for severance pay, 12,000 euros for missing wages, 4,000 euros for wrongful termination, and then they had to cover all of the legal fees, the court fees and attorney fees. So, in their ruling, they did state on the record that she should not have done this. It was inappropriate and embarrassing, but that the hospital overreacted. They said the disciplinary action was inappropriate, and they should have done disciplinary action, progressive discipline, suspended her, but it did not warrant immediate termination. And they ruled in her favor. And she got a big ass paycheck.
What tight ass nurse?
That's what I want to know.
Was offended by this?
Who fucking reported her?
That's who needs to be fired.
Yeah, Linda. Linda, if you reported her, be so for real. It's time for you to retire. Get the stick out of your ass. Come on now.
It's funny. It's funny. I mean, and how do we know it could? Nobody said she had it there to spray on her coworkers. So Linda's offended or a little bit, saucy. Jeez, man. I mean,
I will say it should not have been kept somewhere where any patients or visitors could see it. Obviously, but like it was funny. It was all in good humor. Like every nurse would appreciate that. Yeah. But she fought back and she won. And I think that's amazing. And I don't think that would have happened in the U.S. They probably would have sided with the hospital.
Oh, no. Definitely not. They don't have a sense of humor in the U.S.
No, they don't. And we are not nurse-friendly here, are we?
No. I mean, no, it doesn't seem like it lately. Is it already my turn?
It is. It's your turn.
All right, this is going to be short and sweet. We're going to talk about President Trump.
Mm. Oh Lord. Okay.
No, it's
Everyone,
not. It's not
calm
much.
down. Calm
Yeah,
down, you guys. Calm down.
this is a nice story from what I understand. So, Amy Gleason, a ER nurse, okay, or was a bedside ER nurse, was appointed by President Trump to lead the DOGE, which stands for Department of Government Efficiency. For people that don't know, I don't really know what the hell they do there, but they're supposed to make sure the government's running efficiently. Hopefully, this nurse can do something, because if anybody can, a nurse could. But Amy worked after being an ER nurse for a while. Then she worked as an American healthcare technology executive, and I guess did some amazing work. That literally,
is that like informatics. Like, what is that?
That's a great question. But from what I've learned is that Amy's daughter, unfortunately, back in 2010, developed a rare autoimmune disease. I'll see if I say it right again. Called juvenile dermatomyositis. How the hell did I say it again, Erica?
Dermatomyositis.
Okay, I've never heard of it, but it's an autoimmune disease that requires care, a lot of care. So her keeping up with the ER bedside was too much. So she transitioned into this other job. But she's done a great job at like calling out and figuring out where there's different failures, where there's critical needs in healthcare systems and things like that. So I guess she's done an amazing job in the role that she's been in, for many years now, maybe 10 to 15 years. And obviously caught the attention, I guess, of our president, or she applied. I don't know, but she got it.
Yeah, how do you get that job? How do you go from nurse to, I think I'm going to run the DOGE.
But it shows that nurses can do many jobs. There's many things out there. So good job, Amy. Congratulations on your new role. And you get it, girl. You're going to be busy.
I love to see that a nurse is involved, because hopefully they bring some common sense and, accountability to the scenario. I love that.
Yeah. But I guess I don't think this is necessarily like a healthcare role, but she did such a great job in identifying, I guess, failures and stuff. This is what I'm assuming, that I think she'll do great here too.
Well, God knows there is a ton of corruption and wasteful spending and misappropriation of funds in the healthcare sector. And hopefully with her knowledge, she can address that. I hope.
Yeah. Have at it, girl. Better you than me. All right. What you got, Erica?
All right. I've been saving the best for last. Okay.
Yay. And I'm excited.
Well, I'm going to preface this by saying I don't think I can tell this without laughing. And if you are like Nurse Linda that we mentioned earlier, this is not the story for you, and I don't want to hear your opinion about me laughing.
You may want to tune out now. Yeah. Oh boy.
A nurse in Germany is accused of killing 9 patients and attempting to kill, depending on which one you read, between 26 and 34 other patients at Rhein-Mass Klinikum Hospital in Germany.
Okay.
Between December 2023 and May of 2024. But the trial just started this week. Okay. He's a 44-year-old male nurse. They have not released his identity. He's accused of administering lethal doses of narcotic pain medication and or sedatives, primarily morphine and midazolam, to patients. Most of the patients were terminal end-of-life patients, but some allegedly were like ready for discharge, practically. So, yeah. Okay. Wait until you hear the motive.
Don't. I don't know. What? He just wanted them to shut up? What? This is horrible. I already know. What?
German investigators say that his motive is to decrease the ratios and workloads and have better shifts.
Oh My God.
The prosecutor said he wanted quieter night shifts.
Well, that's one way of going about it, I guess. I mean,
I cannot. Okay, for you Karens out there, yes, we all know this is wrong. Yes, we all know this is terrible. Yes, he needs to be held accountable.
yes,
But-
he kills people. I mean,
But if that doesn't tell you where we're at with nursing, because you know in his mind, he was like, we've been telling you all for years and you've been ignoring us. Well, guess what, motherfucker?
He's
I'm
like,
gonna do something about
I've been asking for 2 more RNs, and nobody will give it to me, so I'm taking matters into my own hands. Wow.
I have to tell you, Masshole Matthew is the one that told me about this first, and I could not stop laughing. I could not. Like, we laughed hysterically for like 20 minutes on the phone.
And like Erica said, Linda, no, we are sorry for those family members that lost somebody. And it's horrible. It is horrible, but it just goes to show the state of nursing. I guess even in Germany. They're getting fucked in Germany too, I guess. They must run things like we do over here.
They said that he lacked motivation to work and was frequently annoyed by patients. Well, join the club, because who doesn't get annoyed by patients? And again, if you don't get that, you're not a nurse.
But you know what? It's funny. My first thought was he just wanted them to shut the fuck up.
He just wanted a quiet night shift. That's all he wanted. He's like, could we get one good shift up in this bitch? Could we just get one good shift? You're gonna give me 4 to 1? I begged.
It's gonna be 2 to 1.
Just give me 10 minutes, because I'm gonna fix that.
Oh my God. I can't. I just can't. Between this and the shitting in someone's hand?
Yeah.
These are very interesting. I was not thinking that this is where the Huddle news was going to go this week.
Oh, it's so good. I'm telling you, I've been holding on to these. I cannot wait to see the outcome of this trial. It just started this week. It was discovered back in July of 2024. Somehow management found irregularities during this nurse's vacations. So I don't know if people just stopped dying when he was on vacation and they're like, what the hell? Maybe it's him. So they notified the police and he was arrested.
Oh boy.
The prosecutor's office is also investigating incidents in Cologne, Germany, where he previously worked. And so far they have exhumed 4 bodies.
Oh boy.
It's an ongoing investigation, but he's already on trial for at least the 9 that they claim to know he did.
At first I was thinking he's like a what is it, Kevorkian, Dr. Kevorkian, where like he's
an angel of death and he's trying to
like he was peaceful. But I mean, if there's some people that they were ready to go home, but he was just like, I don't want to do the paperwork and shit. And this is one way to bypass that, because this is really going to fuck up my night shift if I got to discharge somebody.
Right? Because those are long and laborious. Yeah. He wanted safe ratios. I mean, he just wanted safe ratios.
I never liked having to discharge. We don't discharge people from L&D that often, but sometimes you do, you know? And I hated that. All the med reconciliations and they resolving your care plans and all this shit and the education and the blah, 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 blah. I didn't like it either, but I don't know that I would have off somebody over it. You know, that's just me though. I mean, he was proactive. They said he lacked motivation. Well, he didn't then. No.
He was very
motivated. Highly motivated. Before we discharge you, we're going to give you a little sedative, just so you feel good on your way home.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Yeah. So for all you judgy people out there, just know, this is where we're at with nursing. When you ignore us long enough, this is the shit that eventually happens. You have pushed us to our edge.
Okay. Do we have an Enema of the Week, Erica? Should we shift into our Enema of the Week award? It's brought to you by Happy Bum Co., the leader in, Erica, what?
At-home enema solution.
Enema of the week.
Erica, sometimes like if you go to the store, there's usually a list of just certain items that are embarrassing to purchase. It's just not on the top of your list, like hemorrhoid cream or like you just don't, Another one would be enema, It's just embarrassing. But Happy Bum Co., what I love is it is discreetly packaged and mailed to your home, so you don't have to go out and about and purchase something. No, nobody would know. How would they know? So if you're needing enema relief, they have all sorts of things. And cute things like your own towel. It's just, it makes it homey and cozy. And the company, it really...
kit. Everything that you need delivered to your front door. You don't have to go buy it and be judged by the checkout lady. Yeah,
you don't have to put the tampons on the counter. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, there's a list of things, and that's one of them. So if you are wanting some enema relief, go to happybumco.com and use code Nurses Uncorked for 15% off your first bundle. So who's getting the Enema Award?
Okay, this week's Enema of the Week award, they're gonna share it between them. It goes to East Ohio Medical Center and the nurses of East Ohio Medical Center. They closed their doors on March 20th, abruptly, after not paying employees like a month prior. And this is at least the second or third time they have not paid employees. They did it last year. They did it earlier. Employees just kept going back. They just kept going back. They did a little protest outside. That accomplished absolutely nothing. And then they were shocked and appalled to show up to work on the 20th of March and see a sign posted saying, "We're closed." Come on now. The writing had been on the walls. Come on now. And I made some videos about this, and people drinking all the Kool-Aid are like, they didn't want to be charged with patient abandonment. Well, that's not patient abandonment if you don't show up to work because they're not paying you. Please educate yourself. Or they felt bad for the patients. I understand that. Yeah. But that's why the nursing profession is in this mess, because of that empathy manipulation that's been weaponized against us for generations. It's a job.
You might see us with angel wings and halos, but we do like a paycheck.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it. It's kind of nice, It is partly, we need to pay our bills.
It is a job. Like, we are providing highly skilled services, and you have to pay us. Legally, you have to pay us. Now, the hospital obviously is, they get like 90% of this Enema award. It's on them, right? And I think there could really easily be a class action lawsuit from those employees, because there is a thing called the WARN Act. It's the Worker Adjustment and Retaining Notification Act that requires employers to provide at least 60 days notice to employees when they're going to close the business. So like, y'all need to get together and go see some attorneys, because that's a class action lawsuit right there. Not to mention the wages that they probably still owe you, back wages or interest on them. Like, come on, guys, come on. They didn't pay you once. You you went back to work. And then they were like, well, they paid us. It was just a couple weeks late. Do you hear yourself? Do you hear yourself?
that in itself, they gave them a try. They at least were like, okay, they just couldn't get it together this week, but they're going to come through. Right?
Yeah, eventually. They came through in the way of closing their doors entirely. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so they need to get their money somehow. I would want my money.
Yeah. So people have been telling me that I've been really mean to the Ohio nurses. Well, I just think they need to wake up. Come on now. Quit being taken advantage of. Quit letting them do it. I think,
right, if you already miss paying me and you haven't paid me, I think that justifies you don't need to give a 2-week notice. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
They didn't give you a notice that they weren't going to pay.
Correct. And they're legally required to.
All right. I think we're wrapping it up. Until the next Huddle news update, and till the next Nurses Uncorked.